got the memory of a goldfish. I can't remember all this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Prepper Dave, and this is Welcome to the Apocalypse. Holy shit. We're still here circling the bowl, but this turd is refusing to go down. Law and order are gone in some locales, and it's hanging by a thread in others. Seems the mayor of Seattle finally took a trip to Oz with the Tin Man, and she was able to score herself enough courage to liberate the country of Chaz. It's about damn time. I was wondering, they were peaceful protesters until they showed up to her front door. The virus, which will not be named, lest the fickle gods of YouTube decide to strike down my channel for giving out false COVID information, continues to rear its ugly head. Each time we make a little progress, it pops its head up like some damn pandemic version of whack-a-mole. The bars and restaurants are being shut down again, and again businesses are being told that they are not essential. Well, I got news for these government dipshits. If a business puts a meal on the table for a family, that business is essential. I do have to say I'm getting a bit tired of the new trend of virus shaming that seems to be trending on social media these days. People are sharing photos and videos of folks whose only crime against humanity was throwing a birthday party for their kids. I haven't seen a single news story berating anyone for being out in a crowd of thousands while attending a protest. I may not be a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that constitutes a mass gathering. The cancel vultures, not culture, vultures. The cancel vultures are tearing down statues, trying to erase any vestige of this country's history. The Antifa goons are burning down statues and vandalizing memorials in the middle of the night like the terrorist cowards they are. What the hell does a group need to do to get on the government's radar these days? I guarantee if they were wearing button-up Hawaiian shirts, the government would be paying attention to them. I'm not disparaging their right to assemble. It is their right to peaceably assemble and protest what they see as an injustice. I am a strong supporter of the Constitution, and I will stand up for their right to do so, just as I will stand up for the rights of small business owners to conduct their business. Speaking of the Constitution, Kyle and Karen may have used their downtime on the quarantine to finally read past the First Amendment in the Constitution and read that pesky Second Amendment. Imagine that. They found the one that tells the government that the people have the right to keep and bear arms, and boy did they bear them. They went straight to FAFO mode. You know what FAFO mode is? F*** around and find out. He skipped WYW, or Wish You Would, and went straight FAFO. Karen went straight Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction. You know, 6 months ago, Karen was down at the Walmart with the petition to ban machine guns and assault clips, and old Kyle never held anything more dangerous than a 7-iron. He looks like he just walked off the 18th hole. What the f*** is he wearing? He looks like Jake from State Farm. He looks like he just finished looting the Gap outlet. He looks like a fucking extra from Caddyshack. Then you got Karen over there, modeling the latest looks from the Carole Baskin collection. She's wearing fucking capris, and she's barefoot. She couldn't even be bothered to go over and get a pair of Crocs before she came out. You know she's got a pair of Crocs. Yeah, Karen, you gotta put on some footwear. If Kyle had time to strap up, then you had time to go grab you a pair of Crocs. Now, I do have to give them an A for effort. At least they had the forethought to let their little nuts drop and swing on by the big five and invest in a little self-protection. But after the firearm purchase comes the real big investment. That's called training. Kyle, Karen, don't forget about the training, because y'all look pretty uncomfortable in that video. I'm just saying. I'm just looking out for your best interests. Now, I will give Kyle a little credit for having some trigger discipline. He's probably been watching that old worn-out copy of Commando he keeps under the bed. Matter of fact, I was so impressed by his trigger discipline, I'm no longer gonna call him Kyle. For today, he's Brett. Brett is like one step up from Kyle, not very much. Anyway, Karen is still Karen. She gets a solid F in the trigger discipline department. If she actually loaded that pistol, she would have capped someone out in the crowd for sure. And both Brett and Karen get an F in muzzle control. That shit was swinging all over the place. Now I can already hear the whining of the little lefties over there crying.
They're using guns to protect their stuff.
That is spoken like someone who has never earned a damn thing. That sounds like someone who has never worked for anything. Remember when you were learning to use tools and you went in the garage, you cut out out the wood and you built yourself a bread box? It was shitty, it wouldn't close right, but you put it in the kitchen and you used it. Was it because you needed a bread box? No, nobody uses bread boxes anymore. Who uses bread boxes? People who watch Matlock reruns? Civil War reenactors? My bread is protected by good old American-made preservatives. But you know who used that bread box? I did, because I built that bread box. There is value in something that you build. That value is not something you can calculate on a bank ledger or a spreadsheet. That value is your life, and it is worth protecting. When you point at what others have and wonder why you don't have the same, and you look at the owners with contempt, that is called class warfare. You see the big house, you see the fancy car, it's right out front, it's in your field of vision. But what you can't see is the sacrifices that person has made to get to that point. You don't see the long hours, you don't see the missed holidays, the weekends worked, you see the house. You don't see the student loans Brett has, you see the car. You know what Brett calls a 40-hour work week? Part-time job. I may not have protected my house in the same way. I would have kept my finger off the trigger and I would have used a little bit of muzzle control, but I understand their fear. Now before I go tonight, I need to do a little shout out, my hero of the week. I don't know if y'all seen this video yet, but this sheriff in Florida is crazy. Sheriff Daryl Daniels. This is a bad motherfucker.
You threaten to come to Clay County and think that for 1 second that we'll bend our backs for you, you're sadly mistaken.
This guy's a legit psychopath and a badass. Seattle could have used one of him. I want him to be my next door neighbor. Anywho, make sure you check out my website, PrepperDaveWTTA.com. The WTTA is for Welcome to the Apocalypse. And I'm telling you that because I've been asked about 50 times. Check me out on Instagram, @PrepperDaveWTTA. Check me out on Twitter, f***ing Twitter, @PrepperDaveWTTA. What the hell else am I on? Oh, there's the Parler. Parler? Check me out on that one too. They're not as big into the censorship as these pansy ones. @PrepperDaveWTTA. You can look down in the description if you want to see the equipment that I use to make these videos with all my Hollywood special effects and shit. Oh man. Is that in 3D? I'm Prepper Dave. Until Valhalla. I don't know what to do next.